Good evening, class. Today again, we're gonna work on trig function. So we're gonna make use of trig to find the missing side. So as you can see here, this time around, if you take the small triangle, you're gonna say this is the if this angle if we're dealing with this angle A, this BC gonna be the opposite and AC gonna be the adjacent and H gonna be AB. So the sine of A gonna be BC over AB. The cosine of A gonna be adjacent AC over AB, the hypotenuse, and the tan gonna be what? The tangent gonna be opposite over adjacent, that is BC over AC. The same thing here, if you take the triangle ADE, this big triangle, the middle triangle, DE is the gonna be the opposite, AE gonna be the adjacent, and AD gonna be the hypotenuse. So the sine of A gonna be DE, opposite, over hypotenuse AD. The cosine of A gonna be adjacent over hypotenuse, that's AE over AB, and the tangent of angle A gonna be opposite DE over adjacent AE. If you take the big triangle, the largest triangle, FG is the opposite and AG is the adjacent, AF is the hypotenuse. So if you take sine of A, that's going to be opposite over hypotenuse, that's FG over AF. Cosine of A gonna be adjacent over hypotenuse, that is AG over AF, and then the tangent is gonna be opposite over adjacent, that is FG over AG. So it's just to say the sine is S, which is opposite over hypotenuse. The cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and the tangent is opposite over adjacent. So SOHCAHTOA, if you use the acronym. So S opposite over H, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So we can use the idea of that to find the missing side. These are the steps. You first of all identify the sides given. Like if this is the angle, this side here is opposite, and this longest side here is hypotenuse, and this here is the adjacent side to this angle, and determine what trig function is needed. So here, as you can see, since our x is missing and we have hypotenuse, so we can use sine. So we're going to set up the trig function. So sine 64 will be equals to x over h, which is 12, x over 12. And you know, sine, since we have a fraction here, you can write sine 64 over 1. Then you use cross multiplication. Then 1 times x is x. You have 12 times sine 64. So 12 times sine 64, if you try in your calculator, it's going to be 10.8. Oh, let me put my light on, sorry. Okay, we're gonna quickly solve these problems down here and we're done for the day. So you're gonna do the same thing. You have this, the information about this angle. So here is the opposite, this is the hypotenuse, and this is the adjacent. Okay, since you have information about the adjacent and the hypotenuse, so you're gonna write cosine 45 equals to opposite adjacent 10 hypotenuse x. You write then cos over 1, then you cross multiply. So if you cross multiply, you're gonna have x times cosine of 45. That will give you 10 times 1, and then you can divide both sides by cosine 45 cos 45. You cancel out this, x will be equals to 10 over cos 45. If you put in your calculator, it gives you 14.1. On the other side as well, this is the angle, the reference angle. Then what do we do? From this side, this, when you're the opposite, the side across from that reference angle is opposite. This is adjacent, this is hypotenuse. We have information about the opposite and the adjacent, so that will be tan. So it means if you take tan 45, tan 40 will be equals to opposite is 14. What's up? Over x. Then you put over 1, you cross multiply. Once you cross multiply, you're gonna have x times tan 40 equals to 14 times 1. You divide both sides by tan 40. So this cancels this. At the end of the day, x will be 14 over tan 40 gives us 16.7. If you try it on your calculator. And then the remaining ones, here we have this reference angle. This is opposite, this is hypotenuse, and this is adjacent. So we have adjacent over hypotenuse. That will be your cos. So cos 54 equals to x over 16. You took cos over 1, then you cross multiply, you're gonna have 16 cos 54 being equals to x, and then cos 16 times cos 54 gives us 9.4 if you put it in your calculator. On the other side, this is the reference angle, the opposite side is here, the hypotenuse is here, the adjacent is here. We have information about the opposite side and the hypotenuse, so we're going to use sine. So if you take sine 43, will be equals to 16 over x. You can write sine over 1, you cross multiply, you're going to have x sine 23 being equals to 16 times 1. Then you divide both sides by sine 23. This one cancels out this, so x is going to be 16 over sine 23 gives us 40 over 9 if you calculate it very well. The two last questions here, reference angle, opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. Since we have opposite and adjacent, so it's going to be tan. So tan 53 will be x over 17. And then you can write tan 53. Yeah, you can cross multiply, so it's going to give you 17 times tan 753 being equals to x. So when you put 17 in your calculator times tan 53, x is going to be equals to 92.6. On the other side, this is a reference angle. So if you trace it very well here, here is the opposite. This is adjacent, this is hypotenuse. Since you have opposite over hypotenuse, that gives you sine of 473, which is equals to 12 over x. Then you cross multiply. You're going to have x sine 73 equals to 12. And then divided by sine 73. Sine 73. So you're going to have x equals to 12 over sine 73, which gives us 12.5. So that's all for today. So you first of all look at your reference angle, and then from the reference angle locate the opposite side, the adjacent and the hypotenuse, and then make use of the information given to you to see if you can use sine, cosine or tangent. That's all. Thank you.